Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Browns Latest. I'm Dave Grendzynski. Some people call me Grizzer. And this is where we get you caught up on some of the latest news that involves the best team in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns. Thank you to everyone who has liked our previous episodes, who has subscribed to the channel, who has become members, and who gets their comments in the viewer comment section. Now, we're in a hurry today because training camp. It is now officially open for business. And on today's show, the first combined practice will happen today. But there's only one thing that could overshadow this. And it's expected to happen soon, very soon, if it hasn't happened already. So we head into the new season. We have the list of what the experts think are the most explosive offenses in the league. I'll tell you where the Browns are, but that has nothing to do why I lost my mind. I lost my mind looking at this list. Anyway, we move on. When it comes to Shedeur Sanders, we'll explain what you really need to pay attention to out of the gate as this quarterback battle starts ramping up today. And down in the viewer comments, someone who loves the Browns, wants the best for them, but we'll find out what that's all about. But first things first, the veterans are here. They are ready to practice. Practice will be this afternoon, but let's get you the schedule first. So there's today, tomorrow, and Friday. The rest of the week, you see at 12:50, there'll be interviews. Players will be available. I'm going to guess it's probably Flacco and or Pickett will be one of those players. And then you'll see at 3:55, Kevin Stefanski will address the media today. And practice today is at 4:25, going late. Going to be hot, too. Going to be a hot one. Next few days here in Cleveland, going to be hot. And then you see tomorrow, essentially the same schedule. And Friday, they change it up. 11:20 will be availability. But it'll be quarterbacks coach Bill Musgrave. That'll be interesting. And the defensive line coach, and then some players. And then at 1:30, Kevin Stefanski. And practices at 2 o'clock on Friday. We'll try to update the schedule for you each day as we go along. So you can, Twitter, it'll all be out there because the media is out there. So it's going to be hard to be first on anything that happens for at least the throughout training camp. But here's what you saw yesterday, courtesy of the Browns X account. There's Joe Flacco showing up for work, Grandpa Joe, along with Wyatt Teller. And then there's Kenny Pickett, who, as he walked in, said he's ready for year 4. That's what Kenny said. Didn't mention anything about situational grit, though. Just that he's ready for year 4. And then how about Alex Wright? And then there's Denzel Ward, the Warden, who I think should really play out. Because remember, it's the 40th anniversary to Dog Pound. I think he needs to be Dog Pound 2.0 this year. I think he could be the new Mighty Mini or the new Hanford Dixon and just take over. And, I don't know, do more than barking. What can I say? And then there's Jerry Jeudy, who the more I hear him talk and say, like, God, I'm really, really loving what I see and hear from Jerry Jeudy. Now, here are some key dates to remember. August 8th will be Browns at the Panthers, the preseason schedule. Now, but before that, those joint practices will happen. That's where the real action will be. But it'll be fun to watch preseason games because that's where we're probably going to see a lot of Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. August 16th, Browns at the Eagles. Same thing, joint practices. That's the real work. And then the preseason game on the 16th. And then the 23rd, the Rams at the Browns. Another 1 o'clock start. I like those 1 o'clock preseason starts. I don't have a problem with that. But these preseason games, this is where I really expect you to see a ton of Shedeur and Dillon Gabriel. I mean, it's just an exhibition now. I mean, they used to call them exhibition games, and then they got away from that. They call them preseason games. But these are now, I think we're sliding back more to exhibition games. It's like, remember Rocky IV when Drago is beating the crap out of Apollo, and the trainer said, "Is this supposed to be an exhibition?" Well, that's what these really are turning back to exhibition games, and so, but we'll see. Not for the Browns though. I mean, with Shedeur and Dylan, they're out there, and everybody's gonna want to see it, and they're gonna want to put their best foot forward. So this is gonna be the most fun preseason in I don't know how long, maybe ever. Like it just insane. Now, I mentioned off the top, there's only one thing that could overshadow the first day of training camp today. You know what it is? We're expecting the new helmet to be unveiled. It's the alternate helmet design. This isn't a replacement. The orange helmet without the logos, and it's not going away. It's just an alternate because it aligns with the NFL's expanded alternate helmet policy, which allows teams to wear alternate helmets in up to 4 games per season. Here's the thing, though. The new helmet is supposed to be brown. Remember, I was on Helmet Watch last week, and it was supposed to be last week, and then it never materialized. And the word is it's happening today. If it hasn't happened already, it's happening today. And so we'll get our first look at it. And I'm telling you, folks, this may take over. This may break the internet today. It'd be just the way Browns fans are. My book, I don't care. I mentioned this before. I don't care what you wear. Just win games. But I will say this. The orange helmet. Like, why can't we just wear the orange helmet, please? Can we just do that? Hey, but I heard if you saw Pittsburgh's alternate uniform, apparently they're terrible. So I think, yeah, they are. They're terrible. Like, yeah, whatever. So we got that. But anyway, the helmet today on top of the first day of training. It is a huge day in Cleveland. For the love of goodness. What else could be happening today? My gosh. Now, most explosive NFL offenses. You don't expect the Browns to be at the top of that list. They're not. But I really wonder. Next year when list season comes around, people call me. Please call me. Let me help because I can shed some light on some of this stuff. But this is from Yardbarker Sports, and this is their top 5, and then I threw in the other. Now, the thing to note is the 2 out of the top 5 are in our division. You see Buffalo, Detroit, Baltimore, Philly, and Cincy, which I don't really disagree with those, except for Detroit, only because they don't have the same offensive coordinator. They lost their center. He retired. There's just a lot of changes on that offense. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be exactly the same as they were in previous years, but explosive, I don't know, But how is Pittsburgh 23? That's when I'm like, how could Pittsburgh be 23? And, the Browns at 31, you're going to base it on last year. That's fine. Now, I would really be screaming up and down if the Judkins thing didn't happen. I'd be screaming up and down that we should be way higher because our offense is going to be so much better. But we're really going to rely on that running game. Explosive, possibly with the play action. That's a big part of this offense. But here's the thing: what I don't understand, what everybody talks about the Browns with Joe Flacco. If Joe Flacco is the starter, and they want to ding Joe for being 40, but how come nobody is dinging Aaron Rodgers, who's 41? And nobody dings Pittsburgh because they got a 41-year-old quarterback who's never even been there before. At least our guy has run this offense and he knows the offense. It's like, for the love of Pete, like, can we get any credit for anything? For the love of. Anyway, that's your most explosive offenses. I expect the Browns to be at the top of that list come next year. Now, training camp. Starting today. This is the first joint practice, and now this will really get rolling. The first open practice is on Friday. That's when the public will be there for the first time. But what to watch for early on, and I think this is going to be critical for everyone, which is the entire world, who's paying attention to the Shedeur Sanders situation. Here's what you need to watch. How quickly does he get first-team reps? After not getting any in minicamp, how quickly will they stick him into the fire and see what he's got? Because if you remember, Dylan Gabriel got a lot of the work because from everything that I can tell, they needed to see if he is ready. They drafted him third round. They needed to see if he was ready to potentially be the backup quarterback. And they're not going to tell us if they think he's ready to be the backup quarterback. I saw passes being batted down. That's what I don't like. But That's what they were trying to see out of Dylan Gabriel. Same with Kenny Pickett. They gotta see what they have, because if they're gonna trade him, they gotta make him look. They have to show everybody else that he can play, right? So even if he's doing well, maybe they use that to their advantage and get a better draft pick for him. Maybe they have no intention, of keeping Kenny Pickett. But we shall see. Now, here's the thing. Shedeur gets those first team reps. This is where the experience with Pat Shurmur should shine. Having Deion Sanders, his dad, and all the mentorship that he's given him. Like, this is where all of this is going to come into play. And he's going to need to implement it lickety split, because there's not a lot of time. But here's the one thing, too, that I will say, though, when it comes to both the rookies. To me, this is more of a 4-year plan. This is not a 4-week plan. I think with the veterans, more of a 4-week plan, where they've been in the league. I mean, we already know what we're getting with Joe Flacco. But with those two kind of battling for that top spot, in the next 4 weeks, we'll know who QB1 is. I mean, unless one of the rookies just comes flying out of nowhere. Things happen. But with Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, I think the Browns think more long-term, 4-year plan, not so much 4-week plan. I think that's what the veterans are under. So we'll see. I mean, there's a lot that's going to happen, but early on, you've got to pay attention to see how many first team reps this should get. Now it matters. It will matter now, and just to see. But they're not getting rid of any of these guys. I think if they don't get if one of the veterans, if they don't get a good offer for one of the veterans, and because like I said, Tennessee, they need a backup quarterback. I still think New Orleans is going to need a veteran backup quarterback. If they get a good enough offer, I think one of the two. I don't think it'd be Flacco. I think it's definitely going to be Pickett, because he's younger. If Pickett goes, then things will change. But I do think they will hold on to all 4 quarterbacks until somebody comes calling. The pundits are all over the place on this, folks. And so today's the day. It'll start sorting itself out, beginning today, all the way now through up to those joint practices and the preseason games. Now we'll start sorting things out for real. Now, one thing that doesn't need to be sorted out is this. The viewer comments. You guys are already in mid-season form. And now here's the thing. Gail M8462 is going to start us off. And she says, Shedeur has been doing nothing but relaxing and working. It's the internet doing the talking. He is just putting the work and not complaining. Yeah, I mean, he's been, we saw the videos, and a lot of the guys, the Brown, this team seems very excited about getting back at it. And I think the fans need to be excited about that. And Shedeur, everybody, remember we did the whole thing, Shedeur would hype. Garrett Bush had mentioned, Shedeur is always connected to hype, not hope. It just, everybody have hope for the whole quarterback room. We're in such a better spot than where we've ever been before. That's where the hope lies. All right. I hope I say this right. Limami PC. Crazy YouTube handle. Kind of a password, but she's in. This is getting on my nerves. Choose a QB1 and go from there. Well, we're going to choose a QB1 starting today. You got to let all this stuff on the field play out, Limami, and we'll see where it ends up, but it starts today. 97 Buckeye guy. I love the Browns. Want nothing but the best for them. And I hope Shedeur Sanders can step up and separate himself from the group to become our stable starter. Having said that, Browns win 3 games this season. What? 97 Buckeye guy? Come on. Have you not heard that I've already bet the over 6.5 wins? They are winning, folks, and I'm sticking to it. 3-3 those first 6 games. I am sticking to it. This team is going to be so much better. Everybody wants to look at last year, and this is a revamp. This team is going to be so much better this year than people realize. I'm going to win so much money on the Browns, it's not going to be funny. Robert Theorine, 5611. Nothing is clear with the Browns. Everyone is just stating opinions. So my opinion is clearly Shedeur should be QB1. Well, that's all we have right now, our opinions, right? And so, but today, starting today, the quarterback trackers will be out. There'll be tons of video. Everything is going to be under the microscope. And so it'll be more than, there'll be opinions on actual things that happen. So that's what's going to be the difference going forward. We'll have some tangible evidence to go over. Man Brown Jr. says Kevin Stefanski is overrated and has everything to prove this season. I'm a Cowboys fan, but I'm here for Shedeur. And you're not wrong, Man Brown Jr., because he does. It's his offense now that we're running, and he's calling the plays. He's got the control over all of this. And the other thing is this, the rookie quarterbacks, he was involved with the process. So was Bill Musgrave. So was offensive coordinator Tommy Rees. I mean, this is a triumvirate. And then you throw in Andrew Berry. You know, you got Baranski in there with Musgrave and Rees. Like, they're all in this together. And you're not wrong to say he's got everything to prove this year. They have a ton to prove, especially with the new stadium looming. They're going to want to ramp into that new stadium, and you can't keep going 3-14. They have got to turn this around. They've got to show signs of improvement this year, or they're not going to be around. And, you know, it's the new show, Building Brownstown, that shows you all the inside information on the new stadium and how everything is going. That show is already released. It's already out there, and so we're not going back, folks. Everything is heading towards Brook Park, and what Kevin Stefanski and this coaching regime and this front offense does over, you know, not just, well, starting with this year, it means everything. It does mean a lot. And then we'll end on Shazan, who's helping me out. She says, we call it Twitter and we tweet. Remember, I can't decide what to call Twitter anymore because it's X, and so do we X? What do we do? Do we tweet? We don't tweet anymore because it's X. So it's X'd. I X'd. You know. But anyway, Shazan says just keep calling it Twitter. So, okay, I'll do that. Or I'll just keep making fun of X. One or the other. All right, guys. Big day today. Big day. Enjoy it. We will possibly go live at some point today. Don't know. We may do it. Not sure. Look for it if it happens, but enjoy the first official day of training camp. The vets and the rooks are together, and football is rolling once again in the land. Man, nice to say. All right, go Browns. We'll see you next time.